Australians are in for further cost pressures with petrol prices on the way up, interest rates on the way up as well. And joining us live now from Canberra is the National Senator Matt Canavan. Senator, good morning to you. So, yeah, it looks like we're in for another 50 points today. Several long-term measures have already been announced by the government, but nothing for the now. Is there anything that can be done that isn't already being considered in your view?
Well, I do think the government needs to do more to help Australians tackle the cost of living. It's the biggest issue that comes back to me on the streets of this country right now. People are concerned, as you've pointed out, about their rising interest rates, rising energy bills, petrol prices have been high. And all we're getting from the government is stuff that's got nothing to do with the cost of living. I mean, people are asking for cost of living relief, and the government's response is, look, the best we can do is industry-wide bargaining. I mean, it's totally out of touch here in Canberra from the real world. What needs to be done, Peter, primarily here, is to help get our energy price situation under control. That is what is contributing a lot to the increased inflation around the world. Now, here in Australia, with the resources of coal and gas and uranium as well, we should be seeking to use those resources to help lower the cost of energy, to increase the supply of energy. Yet instead, this government is persisting with their insane idea of adding hydrogen to the Kurri Kurri gas plant. And we saw last week that the CEO of Snowy Hydro resigned because he said that's crazy and you can't do that. And if we can't get that gas plant going to come online very soon, we're going to risk not having our lights on.
Well, just back to Liz Truss there, you just heard she's going to be the new Prime Minister of the UK. She's considering a freeze on energy bills in the UK. It's a different set of circumstances there, but I mean, with some similarities. But is that something that could work here at all?
Well, I am worried about approaches that seek to freeze prices because typically when you seek to control prices, you lose control of supply. And the prices are going up in the UK because there's a fundamental shortage of energy. Price control doesn't change that. It just reduces the ability of the market to ration that shortage, and that ration will have to happen through some other way, from queuing, from the lights going off, from demand, what they call demand management, which is basically enforced blackouts. This is what happened in the 1970s when governments sought to control the price of oil. It typically ended in complete disaster. The answer to an energy shortfall is the supply of more energy. You've got to increase the supply of energy. Now, we are on the same track as Great Britain. We've signed up to this net zero emissions. We're shutting down our coal-fired power stations. We're not quite as far advanced. We still have some time. But if we don't act to increase supply today, we will be in the same circumstances that Europe find themselves in the next few years. In fact, our energy regulators warned about that last week. They said that we do not have enough power to meet our reliability standards on electricity over the next 3 years in New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia.
Well, overnight, Anthony Albanese, he moved to assure the resources sector that Australia will remain a reliable global supplier of coal and gas, and that moves away from it eventually will be orderly. Are you relieved to hear that at least?
Well, no, I'm not, Peter, because I mean, how insane is this that the Prime Minister is saying we will continue to supply the rest of the world, other countries, with energy resources so they can keep the lights on, but we won't use them ourselves? Because, as I say, this government is not pursuing the gas plant at Kurri Kurri. They are effectively sabotaging that gas plant with this idea of adding hydrogen to it. They're, of course, not supporting the use of our coal and are cheering on the closure of coal-fired power stations. But apparently we can export the coal to China, to Vietnam, to India and Japan, and let them steal our manufacturing industries. It is totally ridiculous. We should be putting Australians first, helping them with these crushing increases in power bills and protecting our manufacturing industry.
Well, I mean, just on that point, because Madeleine King, she also reassured countries such as Japan, who you just singled out, that enough gas will still be provided to them if that gas trigger is pulled here. So doesn't that answer the question that there's going to be more that will be supplied to the domestic market while still satisfying our foreign customers?
Well, we haven't seen it yet, Peter. On the gas trigger, it was over 3 months ago now that the government announced a review of the previous governments, of our government's gas trigger. The Labor government said that our gas trigger was too slow and cumbersome and it had to be changed. Well, Christmas is coming and we haven't heard boo about what's going to happen to the gas trigger. They should have acted earlier and sooner to help bring gas prices down. As I said at the time, simply threatening to use the gas trigger would help bring gas online. But I don't know where Madeleine King is on this issue. Yes, she's reassuring other countries of their gas supplies, but very little is being done to help Australian manufacturers deal with what are massive increases in gas prices in recent months.